Wake up, Toronto, and hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. I, on the other hand, had such a difficult time rolling out of bed this morning. I've been seeing TikToks on this as well, thinking, hey, it's just a comedy, but I was wrong. Now, being in your 30s and having aches and pains is not a joke. It's a real thing, and I experienced it for the first time on an excruciating level this morning with my lower back. So that pain was indescribable. It was some next level-ish. I felt like my body would break in half. So I very slowly and carefully rose out of bed. And I don't know if this is a one-off thing or a coincidence, or I manifested the crap out of these TikToks to make it come true for me. I mean, out of all the good things I could have manifested, I got this lower back pain to deal with. So what did I do? I put ice on it. I did some stretches. And my husband tells me he's been adding stretching to his routine, normally right before bed, because there's some muscle tension that happens throughout the day, and of course to avoid future inflammation. I had to hit pause for a moment, and I was like, what? It felt like falling off of a cliff in slow motion because I had no idea he started doing this. And before you judge my husband, no, he's not any older than I am. So of course, this was a bit of a shock. And he's also very much more active than me. He's crazy like that. Like he hits up the gym nearly 6 days out of the week. So the fact that he was stretching and has a whole routine has me convinced that we're getting much older and brittle than we used to be. And it's insane. That was pretty much my morning. I felt better after I had my cup of coffee. It was the perfect distraction, or maybe it was a caffeine talking, which has worn off since then. So the pain is back and kicking. Now, it was quite chilly also for 5 a.m. today. It felt like temperatures we typically get in the fall, but I was vibing to it. I enjoyed the breeze. It was great. So here in the east end of Toronto where I live, our garbage goes out on Tuesdays. So I usually empty the compost and garbage and then shift it to the garage until the morning. I know a lot of people do it the night before, especially those on my street at least, and I get it. Sometimes it can be a drag to wake up super early and put it outside, and some people might have a difficult time waking up in the mornings and have that anxiety of missing the garbage truck. Whatever the reason is, everyone has a preference. It's cool beans. The reason I do it this way is to avoid any animals like skunks or raccoons, which, by the way, have become quite clever and can figure out ways to get into the garbage. And of course, birds. Mostly the raccoons, they attack at night because I think they are nocturnal creatures. Anyways, if animals know that you place your garbage outside on a regular basis and they have access to that food, they'll mark their territory and come back frequently. And then that becomes an issue altogether. Plus, let's not forget the mess that they leave behind. You know, it's scattered along the street and it's no fun to clean it up. So that's why I choose to make the effort in the morning closer to when the garbage trucks are to arrive and avoiding the situation altogether. Now, it's story time. So one of my neighbors, I don't think they seem to get the hint with the bad luck they get every time they put the garbage out the night before. So this morning, as my husband was headed out to work, and I looked across the street, there were a bunch of crows hovered around the neighbor's green bin having a feast. Garbage was everywhere, guys. Normally, our streets are super clean, and these specific neighbors have the best lawn, the best flower garden, and overall aesthetic setup compared to the entire area. They truly spend a lot of time upkeeping and maintaining their space, except for this one thing. And I'll admit, they do come outside and clean it up after, but the animals it attracts is definitely not a good thing. So the other neighbors on the streets, I believe, also put their garbage out the night before too, but it doesn't seem to be a problem with them. It only happens to this specific neighbor. So I can't really put my finger on it as to why that is. I'm not an animal whisperer. In more serious news, a section of the Scarborough RT derailed this week. So basically, the rear car separated from the rest of the Line 3 Scarborough RT, and 7 people, I believe, were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. So it's reported that 45 people in total were occupying the entire train at the time of derailment, and many of those people then had to walk down the tracks to Ellesmere Station after the rear car was separated. And there were also, I believe, shuttle buses set up for the time being. So the Scarborough rapid train system, this was built back in 1985, and according to the TTC, has exceeded its lifespan by nearly a decade. In fact, about a month or so ago, signs have been going up to alert passengers that the train will be decommissioned and exhausted by November of this year. So wow, basically this scary event about a few months before the train permanently went out of service happened. So if that's not a clear indication that shutting it down immediately should be considered, I don't know what is. I'm a Scarborough girl myself up until 2020 when I moved to Pickering, but I remember from 2013 to 2017, around that time, I would take the RT to Kennedy Station every morning before going downtown to University of Toronto for school. Some days, Midland, oh my goodness, would smell horrible, especially during the summer because there's a garbage facility and recycling center nearby. Most of the time, though, it was beautiful to see the sunrise and sunset. So I'll admit, I won't miss the overcrowding and huge lineups and the crazy freaking fights between angry commuters in the early mornings, but it's definitely memories that I won't forget. The RT is by far iconic and a huge identity of Scarborough. So it's definitely going to hold a special place in my heart. What's going on in the world of social media, and what's billionaire Elon Musk up to nowadays? Oh yeah, that's right. There's this huge controversy as he's rebranding the beloved blue Twitter bird to a logo called X, which doesn't quite mark the spot because it looks kind of boring. Apparently, though, he's been wanting to change it for a long time, but is getting around to it now. Some can speculate that the impulse to change this cute little bird, which was there since its launch in 2006, but before notably gaining huge success in the 2010s, is due to last month's chaos when Twitter went down. And then on the same day, Musk put tweet limitations for users, and he differentiated them from the regular users versus the verified ones, and the regular users got X amount of tweets per day, and the verified users got more than that. And so that kind of back and forth caused a lot of followers to stop using the platform. Now, rivalry company Instagram rolled out something that was very similar to the Twitter interface, if not identical, calling it Threads. So now the app had a feature where not only users could go live, make reels, create broadcast channels, post photos, they were capable of sharing their thoughts too, just like Twitter. With these kinds of options, it reminded me of, kind of like a combo order you'd get when you visit a drive-through. Why go to another restaurant when you can get everything all in one place? So I feel like that was a bit of a slap in the face for Musk because of his, I guess, premature decision. Now, reportedly, around 30 million users set up Threads accounts within the first 24 hours. I was one of them, of course, and have to say I enjoy Threads more than Twitter. I love the fact that you can also privatize your account, and similar settings are available as seen on Instagram. So I think the only thing they need to iron out are the GIFs. I've been having a difficult time embedding them into my posts, which ends up reading as an error and not posting the thread at all, and then I got to start all over again. I'm sure the developers will have that sorted out in no time. Twitter, on the other hand, look, I haven't been tweeting for quite some time now, in the rare occasion here and there, even well before the changes took place. I feel like it was just becoming a space that was convoluted with politics, trolls, and negativity. And with Instagram, it's like a clean slate. Now, with the icon changing for Twitter to X as well, it might deter lifers too. How do you guys feel about the transformation of Twitter in the last few weeks? Do you support it? Do you hate it? Do you not really care? Are you indifferent? Leave your comments and thoughts in the discussion below. Since we are on the topic of social media, I've been feeling all kinds of nostalgia the last little while, and let me scratch that. I always feel nostalgia. I've got a huge connection to the early 90s and 2000s content. I lived through it. I think it's the best decade, but that's a bias because everyone who lives in whatever decade they're born in, they love it majority of the time. But I feel like the nostalgia began kicking in more so when I started compiling my junk journal and going through some of my diary entries, brought all these fond memories back. So I thought, why not create a space where lovers of Y2K and earlier on can connect and reminisce their childhood and young adult years. So I created a channel specifically curating content for that called Millennial TV. It's on Instagram, and hopefully you'll give it a follow and subscribe if you're feeling in the mood or vibing. But I can also feel those eye rolls coming in because literally, if I don't have Wake Up Toronto, my personal Instagram as well as YouTube occupying my life right now, I'm adding another venture onto my plate. But I'm excited to explore it and see how it goes. And if people love it, I'll continue to post content on there. All right, listeners, that is a wrap on this week's segment. So I just wanted to wish you guys a fabulous rest of the week and just enjoy the final week before August. The next time we're going to chat will be on August 2nd. Much love from me to you always. Mwah. Suzanna, out.